few weeks ago, I had a dream about the end times that drastically altered the way that I pray forever. But before I share it with you, I do want to give a little disclaimer that anytime God gives us something that seems a little scary, there's always going to be strategy to go with it. So as you listen to this dream, I don't want you to feed the fear. I want you to focus on the strategy. So this dream had 3 parts, and I'm going to try to fit them all into one video. But the first part wasn't really end times related, I don't think, but I'm including it anyway because it may go along with the story for some people. So in the first part, I was in this cafeteria, and I'm in line. There's some people ahead of me, some people behind me. I'm about the middle of the line, and I've got my tray, and I'm picking out my food. And I look down the line, and at the end, there's this little girl who has not gotten her tray yet. She was just kind of waiting for the line to die down. So she's just kind of standing there, and this middle-aged man approaches her, and he says, "Hey, little girl, do you like donut holes?" And they didn't have donut holes in the cafeteria food. And she said, "Yes." And so he gives her one, and she eats it. And she says, "That was delicious. Thank you." He says, "I have more if you want to come to my room with me." And she says, "Okay." And so they start walking away to his room. And I said, "Oh, absolutely not." And I whipped around and made a beeline for them. And we came to this hallway. So right behind the cafeteria was this long hallway that had doors only on one side. And these doors were, you came to his room first. And I got there right in time, right as he was about to shut the door. And I planted myself in the doorway. And I said, "You're not shutting this door." And he said, "Oh, I was just giving her some food. I wasn't going to do anything." I said, "I know you're not going to do anything if I'm standing here, so I'm not moving. You're not shutting this door." And I got my phone out. I called 911, and I waited till the authorities came. They arrested him. They were like, "He's for sure a predator." And then somehow that arrest led to discovering a whole underground predator ring. So that was part 1. Part 2 is where it starts to get real wild. So we were outdoors, and there was this large group of people, and there was this concrete pad we were standing on, kind of like an amphitheater of some sort. And this smaller group of people starts wheeling in these metal bleachers, and the metal bleachers had sides and a back to it. So the only way you could get down was through the front. So they tell everybody to take a seat and that they want to make an announcement. And they say, "We're going to announce who the Antichrist is." And so we all sit down, and they say, "The Antichrist is," and they said this guy's name. I'm not going to repeat it because I don't think this guy is actually the Antichrist. I think he was only the Antichrist in my dream because of my reaction to it. And my reaction was, "Oh, shoot, that guy is known for miracles and healings, miracle signs and wonders. That's going to confuse a lot of Christians. This is going to be a problem." And that was what I thought. And then this smaller group says, "Okay, now that you know who the Antichrist is, here's what we're going to do. Everybody's going to form a single file line. You're going to come to this booth down here, and we have 2 cards for you to choose from. One is going to say, 'I choose Jesus.' One is going to say, 'I choose the Antichrist,' and you have to pick." And so we are watching this line form, and these people go to this booth. And anytime someone chooses the "I choose Jesus" card, as they turn to walk away, they're getting in the back. And I'm watching this happen, and my 6-year-old son is with me. And I pull him to the side, and I say, "Buddy, there's something you got to understand. This man is not the real Jesus. They are trying to trick you, but you're going to have to make a decision." And he said, "Okay, Mommy." And so we were in line, and it gets to our turn, and my son went first, and he picks the "I choose Jesus" card. And he goes to walk away, and the man in the booth went to lower his rifle at my baby boy, and I stepped in front of it. And he said, "Move." And I said, "I will move, but not until my son is free." And so I kind of turned my head to the side, and I'm watching my son walk away because he has no idea what's going on. He's walking away, just kind of looking at his card. And I kept my head turned to the side until I saw him round the corner and get to safety. And then I turned back to the man, and the man said, "Oh, whatever. Just choose your card. And so I picked the I Choose Jesus card. And he said, any last words? And I said, yeah. Why don't you aim that where it's going to hurt me? And I went to walk away. But as I turned to walk away, I said a quick prayer. I said, Father, protect me. And when I was walking away, I heard his pew-pew jam so he could not pew-pew me. And that was part 2. Okay, part 3 was it was kind of the same group of people, but there was this square building. I had somehow gotten a thingy off of a guard and I was holding it. And I knew I've got to get in that building. But at the base of the building were a line of people, just innocent people being herded through this line, and then a bunch of armed guards everywhere. And so I was like, okay, well, I can't really hide this thing because it's gigantic. I can't, open shots right here because then innocent people are going to get hurt. And I just said, okay, God, you're going to have to make me invisible. And I started walking. And I walked within 2 feet of these guards and nobody looked up, and I made it to the building in complete and total safety. So that was part 3. This was the first end times dream I have ever had. And so when I woke up, it was like, I was just like, whoa, what did that mean? And God spoke to me and he said, you need to start praying like that. You need to start praying, expecting me to come through for you in the things that you pray. And the thing is, as I went throughout this dream, I kind of recognized the common theme that as I would pray for something, I would take an action expecting it to happen. So like when I was walking away, I was expecting God to protect me. When I was walking towards the building, I was expecting God to make me invisible. And when I was standing in the doorway and I called the authorities, I was expecting them to show up. And it was almost like, you know how like if you were a military commander and you would, I don't know how this works, but just for example's sake, like you would call the president and say, Mr. President, we need backup. Well, the president may not be on the field with you, but he's going to send you whatever you need to get the mission completed. Okay. So the things that I was praying for in that dream were mission critical. They were not these frivolous little prayers of, I want a pony, I want a new car. Not that those are frivolous things. God cares about the little things too. But when you pray about something that's mission critical, you can expect it to be answered, because why would he send you to fulfill that mission if he's not going to give you everything you need to fulfill it? And since I had that dream, I have started praying those kinds of prayers and they have worked. And it's wild. Like the tiny little prayers, those are, come or go. But the prayers that are mission critical, it's like every time I believe it, they get answered. I believe it, they get answered. And it's wild to see. I definitely think the last days are upon us, or we would not be having all of these dreams and prophecies being fulfilled and all of this wild stuff happening. But I think that this is training time. And I think that God is training his people and equipping us now for how to deal with these things. He's not just going to throw us into the lion's den and be like, good luck. He is going to equip us and train us for how we need to prepare once we get there. And so I hope that this is a tool in your toolbox that allows you to start praying those prayers yourself, that gives you a new perspective on like how to pray and what to pray, and just equips you for the battle ahead. And if you feel like your relationship with God is not as strong as it could be, and you just need a little guidance on like what a relationship with him even looks like, I wrote this book, 7 Days to a Life of Limitless. It's everything I learned over a 3-year period that got me super, super close to God. And it's just basic foundational knowledge that will help you get deeper into relationship with him. Obviously, don't replace your Bible reading, but add this to it. If you want to check it out, you can find signed copies on TikTok Shop or on my website. That's in my bio.